Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. You are not a victim. It was just an event, an experience that you went through. It's over. Now, let me explain what I mean by all of this. Okay, so I'm going to start out in another place and I'm going to go back into what I just stated. So one thing I noticed about two and a half years ago when I really became aware of narcissist abuse, I found a guy named Sam Vaknin who was a narcissist who goes around and speaks to colleges and professors, etc., and gives presentations all over the world on narcissist abuse and what it is, how to spot it, etc. He's actually very famous, so I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. So there's another one, I believe it's called H.D. Trudeau or something like that. I cannot listen to either one of these guys, okay, until just very recently, like this week, maybe last week. And then there's another guy who is smaller. I'm going to use this word. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but he's kind of a cute guy. He's smaller stature, and he's got a spunky attitude. But I found him about a year ago, and I just could not listen to him either. I couldn't do it. And let me explain why. The whole idea of listening to these guys, now I'm going to reverse this in a second, okay? It just repulsed me. The idea that these narcissists are getting all this supply, and even Sam Vaknin admitted, he goes, I'm getting lots of supply, I get lots of attention, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, man, this is just disgusting. I was really pissed. And I was like, I can't listen to these guys. The other thing is with the one guy, he never shows his face, but he's fairly famous. I haven't seen his videos in a while, but he's H.D. Trudeau. I don't remember his last name, but he's such a logical person. He got me up in my head, and it made me feel empty inside. And and even today, I haven't listened to that guy. But I finally started listening to Sam Vaknin. I think a week ago, I listened for about 15 minutes to one of his videos. I was like, yeah, okay, that's enough. I turned it off. And so today, I actually listened to a video, and I was surprised he was interviewing a woman, or a woman was interviewing him, and that may have possibly softened his energy to where I could listen to him. I think another thing, when you are emotionally traumatized, I think when you listen to these same types of energies, mentalities, I think your body's like, no, there's no way I can deal with this. I'm in a healing process, and there's just no way I can listen to these people. Now, I'm at the other end of the tunnel. I'm out of the tunnel, so life for me is becoming fun, happy, joyful, all that good stuff. And I'm really surprised that I can actually listen to Sam without it shutting off the video after 5 minutes, as I'd always had to do before. So please realize, if you are in the healing process and you're deeply wounded still, you're probably in the earlier phases, okay? I will say this, it will get better. And if you can't listen to certain people, just don't do it, okay? Don't push yourself, don't make yourself do it. And just know it's okay to be where you're at right now. So another thing that Sam had said, again, I heard him say this about a year ago, I think it was a year ago, is that, yes, there's two things narcissists are essentially doing. So they're trying to individuate, which I made a video about a while back. Essentially, they're trying to separate from their mother, and the problem is they can never do it successfully. So they keep repeating it with the same person until that person finally leaves. Then they do it with the next target, and then they do it with the next one, because they think they individuated by causing all the drama and all these problems. And thus they feel like, okay, finally I'm me. Whereas no, they actually think they actually took on your attributes, okay? They mirrored you and they became you, and they think, okay, this is who I am now. And no, it's not. And so this is why after they destroy you, they might enjoy this I don't know if I want to call it a victory, but this stage, whether it's a couple weeks, a couple months, but then after a while they're like, wow, this isn't working either. And thus, they have to find another target and they have to do it all over again. Now, once again, one of the things Sam said, he said there's basically one of two things that they have to do. And he goes, firstly, they have to kill you. Like, literally, he literally said that. Okay? So this is why I tell people, the minute you notice that you're with a narcissist, the minute you're like, oh, I'm dealing with a narcissist, get away, okay? They, like I said, they'll put poison in your food, they'll put drugs in your food, they'll put horrible stuff in your food. And here's the deal, if they think they can get away with it, they will kill you, okay? That I'm not the only one saying this. Sam, the world professional narcissist expert of the world, is saying the same damn thing. So the second thing he said is the other thing they have to do is they have to destroy you. Now here's why. When they to individuate is like, okay, so when we're all born, we essentially mimic our parents. We become our parents. We copy them, okay? But eventually, after 18 months up to so many years, you slowly start to become your own person. You start to, this is my favorite color. This is my favorite food. Oh, I don't like that. You start to make your own decisions about what you do and don't like, what you believe, what you don't believe. Now, this is a process, okay? Narcissists never do this. They never individuated from their mother. So what they do is, because they don't have a personality, they go around trying to steal or copy other people's personalities, and then what they purposely try to do is absolutely destroy the relationship. In fact, they push you so hard until you start fighting back and start yelling and basically punishing them in return. I forgot how Sam said it's like sadism or masochism or whatever. So they attack you to get you to attack them as part of the individuation process. It's almost like they're basically devaluing their mother over again. So once they devalue the mother, it's dichotomous thinking. Well, now that you're no good, now that I've proven that you're a bad person, now I'm the good person, and now I've individuated, okay? So here's the deal. You have to understand something very, very clearly. Part of this individuation process is they have to destroy the relationship. Everything about it. If you got married, if you had restaurants together, if you're successful financially, they have to destroy it. That's part of the individuation process. This is why narcissists always end up screwed over, because they're essentially doing it to themselves while they're doing it to the person that they're involved with. This is why you have to get away from them, because I'm telling you, it's not going to change. Here's another thing Sam said again, okay? I'm going to repeat something he said, something that I realized years ago, is narcissist, number one, they never individuate. Number two, here's what he said. They never heal. Ever, at all. They never change. They don't heal. They just continue repeating this process until the day they die. See, one thing you have to realize is, like, you're not dealing with a normal person, and the problem with us is we think, well, they'll learn from this. They're going to grow. No, they're not. They can never successfully individuate, okay? And because of that, they just keep repeating the same cycle of destruction. This is why I tell people, get away, because it's not going to change, and all it's going to do is damage you. That's it. So you guys know how in the past I would say, hey, you're not dealing with a human, you're dealing with a predator. And when I mean predator, I literally mean a person who's using that part of your brain, the low reptilian brain, just like a jaguar, just like a tiger, just like a lion, just like a hyena. They will hunt you down, they will stalk you, and they will try to destroy you, because that's all they know. That's the way their brain works. Now, let me explain another piece. Again, when we're born, just like a baby duck and other animals that have parents that rear them, is we imprint on our parents. So we basically take pictures and audio recording over and over, and we basically lock that into our lower reptilian brain. We basically become them, okay? What we're supposed to do, now that's for survival. What we're supposed to do eventually is grow out of that into our larger left and right brain, and we're supposed to become our own individual self. This is why they call it individuate. So this process begins around 18 months old, so that's approximately a year and a half old, and it continues on up to about 9 years old. Some people do it sooner, some people do it a little bit later, so it's in between this time phrase. So here's the deal. When I say what I'm going to say next, I mean it literally. I'm not being a jerk, I'm not being a smartass, I'm not being, well, I can't find the right word, but I'm not trying to knock narcissist. You are essentially dealing with a 2-year-old. I'm not joking. You're dealing with someone who is 18 months old to a little bit older who is stuck in their reptilian brain and they never come out. You know, one thing Sam said, he said the majority of people that are narcissists are psychologically 2 years old. He goes, you're going to get some that are about 8 or 9 years old. He goes, that's an extremely mature narcissist, and he's talking about adults who are 30, 40, 50 years old. The point being is you're dealing with a child. Most of these people are psychologically 2 years old or 2.5 or 3. That's where the majority of them are at. So when you sit there and say, well, when I try to sit down and reason with them, Michael, you can't reason. They just disagree. They just argue. They change the conversation. They reverse blame. Yeah, you're dealing with a child. See, the reason why it's so hard to see this is because, well, you grew up. You developed your lower brain, your left brain, your right brain. You developed to some degree. You are at least at some degree an adult. And you are perceiving the world in the way that you perceive the world. So you're like, well, so do they. No, they don't. We as humans are different. We are radically different, okay? And the sooner you realize, like you know, when someone tells you something and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? You have to understand this is the way that they see the world or they experience the world. So don't try to convince someone to see something from your perspective because they can't. Now, I'm an NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, etc., etc. So in NLP, there is things that we learn that you have to really get good at it to help people shift their perspective, and you have to be able to see where they're at, etc. That's what I do for a living. I'm very, very good at that. The problem is, it took many years and some of the top trainings in the world to be able to develop this level of skill to be able to do that. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I will tell you this, even myself dealing with a narcissist, I won't even try. It is absolutely insanely ridiculous because they're going to have to go through a development phase that will take 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And here's the problem. It's like Sam said again, they don't change. They don't heal. Period. Alright, so I'm going to read off something Sam said that I thought was just amazing. So he says there's two hungers between the narcissist and the victim. He says the victim is hungry for love, intimacy, and acceptance. Narcissists, they're hungry for existence. They try to become through the victim. They try to exist through the victim. The only way for the narcissist to exist through the victim is to become one with their victim's existence. So in other words, to become you. The only way for the narcissist to become through their victim is to deny the victim their existence. Remember, they have a dichotomous way of thinking, meaning either or. So in order for them to become you, to live through you, they become you, which means now you can't be you. Okay, so now the only way the victim can receive love from the narcissist is to stop existing, to not be, to stop being. The only way for the victim to receive intimacy from the narcissist is to become as much as absent as the narcissist. In other words, you have to become empty inside. You have to basically not exist in order for the narcissist to become intimate with you. Alright, so let me say it in basic words. So in other words, for the narcissist to exist, you can't exist. You have to become this empty shell of who you used to be. In order for you to get intimacy and love and acceptance, you have to be this empty shell and not exist, which is not what you want. This is why I tell people, there is not a win here for anybody. The best thing that you can do is get out and leave. Now here's the deal. Sam said something that I absolutely agree with. He said, for those of you that are victims, number one, you're not a victim. And for those of you who keep saying, oh, I attract narcissists, he said, I highly suggest that you look into yourself and you figure out what it is that you're doing that's allowing these people to keep coming back into your life. Well, Sam, don't worry about that because I got this. I've got these people learning how to be honey badgers and how to fight back. So essentially, the reason you came to my videos and you stuck around a long time is because I'm sitting here saying, hey, here's what you need to do if you want to end this cycle of victimhood. Because here's the deal. Again, Sam said this. He goes, look, you're not a victim. Something happened to you. It was very bad. It was horrible. It was an event. It is not like you are this title, I am a victim. No, it's something that happened, it's done, and it's over. Now, if it keeps happening, there's some reasons why. Now, I've gone in depth, especially over the last 2 or 3 months, about things that you can do to end this cycle. That's what all this, be the honey badger, fight back, stand up for your rights, have boundaries, etc. So let me go over this a little bit more. All right, so let's start with the first one. Boundaries. We've talked about boundaries a lot. I'm going to give you a brief understanding of what boundaries are, okay? So I call it the Great Wall of China. So when you get hurt really bad and you become dehumanized, you become an empty shell because you kind of played along with this narcissist fantasy. In fact, you did quite a bit, and you were willing to give up yourself in order for them to one day, hopefully someday, love you, be intimate, and accept you. Well, that never happens, and it never did happen, and it's never gonna. So for a lot of you, you've been going through this for decades and you finally had it and you got hurt so bad because you thought, oh, well, this person is the one, or, this is going to be my best friend, etc. And it turns out there was another narcissist and they played the same damn games and they just ripped you to shreds and you felt like an empty shell and you got hurt so bad, you were so empty or alone inside that you started looking for answers and you found my channel. So when you went through that really dark period of a year or 2 or 3 years where you just couldn't relate to people, you were afraid to people, you wouldn't open up, you had the Great Wall of China up. You finally put a boundary up. Now, you kind of did the dichotomous thing. It was like either or. It's like either I'm completely open and let people walk all over me, which is what empaths do. What people that get sucked into narcissistic abuse do. We think, oh, okay, well, oh, they scratched my car. Oh, well, that's okay. Oh, they smashed my car. Oh, well, that's okay. Oh, well, they smoke cigarettes. I don't like cigarettes. Well, that's okay. You guys gave up everything because you wanted love. And here's the worst part. You never got love. Hell, you gave up your own soul. You became an empty vessel. And you felt it, and it hurt worse than anything in the world. And you never got what you wanted in return. So this is where boundaries come into play. So essentially my entire video series for months now has been all about boundaries. Hey, if someone lies to you, get rid of them. If someone gaslights you, if you catch them playing mind games, get rid of them. If somebody talks behind your back, get rid of them. If somebody stabs you in the back, get rid of them. So here's another way of understanding boundaries. So let's say you don't smoke cigarettes and you can't stand them. Well, guess what? That is an absolute boundary. So write it down. Cigarette smoking is not allowed. I will not date someone. I will not be in a relationship with them. I will not be with a friend who likes to smoke cigarettes because I can't stand them. It's unacceptable. Now, if it's not, well, then that's not a boundary. So you might be, okay, no. Here's what most, I'm going to use the phrase empath loosely because it could be just people who got caught up in narcissist abuse, okay? So you realize like, oh, they smoke cigarettes. So right then there said, yeah, this is going to work out. But that's not what you do because you want to be loved and accepted so badly, you overlook it. You think, oh, well, I'll change them or I'll convince them to stop smoking. No. Once you meet someone, do not think that you're going to change them. This means that this is not someone who you like. They're not compatible with you. You have to be honest with yourself. And that's rule number 2. You're going to have to start being honest with yourself about things like boundaries, about things like, oh, this person was rude, this person's mean, this person cut me down. You have to see it for what it is. Most people that get caught up with, I'm going to use the word empath loosely here. So most people that are empaths, spiritual workers, open-hearted people, is we allow people to walk over our boundaries. We don't hold them strong. And this is why we get hurt. So another rule that I've thrown out there a lot is see people for who they are. Because what do? We want to see the best in people. It's kind of funny because narcissists are on the flip side of that, where they only see the worst in people. So no matter how good someone is, all they're going to tell you is how horrible you are. And you've experienced this and you know this. And yet here you are looking at the narcissist. No matter how much they abuse you, you only see the good in them. That is not healthy. That is not a boundary. Okay? You're letting them walk all over you. And you should be saying, oh, no, this is not healthy. I'm out of here. So here's the rule. Don't see the best in people. See both. See both the good and the bad and make your decision from there. See people for who they are. All of them. Both sides. So let's say you don't like people that lie. You don't like people that do drugs. Okay? So what happens if they lie? Are you going to make up an excuse? Because that's another thing we do. We'll sit there and like, well, they didn't really mean it. Oh, they were in a bad mood. Oh, they were tired. No. If someone lies, you mark it down. They lied. If they do it again and again, they're a liar. You get out. You know. Same thing with drugs. I don't do drugs. I can't stand drugs. I don't want to have anything to do with them. So guess what? If someone does drugs, I'm gone. How about this? Let's say somebody realizes you're sensitive, and this is what narcissists love to do. So what they'll do is they'll purposely hurt you. They'll do something that they know that upsets you, and they'll say, oh, you're just too sensitive. That's another boundary. If someone pulls that shit on you, boom, you're done. You walk away. I think the biggest one is this. Once you realize that the person you're dealing with is a narcissist, that's it. You have to walk. Period, end of sentence. Even Sam Vaknin, he said this in multiple videos. I think he even said it multiple times in this one video. He's like, hey, these people don't change, number one. Number two, they're never going to heal. They don't heal. Number two is these people will try to kill you. And if they don't kill you, they will destroy you emotionally. In other words, there's no good that can come of this. You have to leave. And if you don't, well, you're just going to be in for one hell of an experience, a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional damage, even possibly physical damage. So here's the deal. You don't have to be a victim. Right now, at this point in time, it's a choice. If you've listened to this video this far, you don't have an excuse anymore. Now, that doesn't mean if you meet someone, talk to them for 30 minutes and say, hey, you want to hang out for some hot chocolate or coffee tomorrow? That doesn't mean that if they turn out to be a narcissist, oh my God, why didn't I cut? No. The point being is, once you start seeing red flags, you better start paying attention. Okay, that's what you have to do. The next thing is, like, if you start realizing, like, oh, this person's a narcissist, you have to cut it off. There's no excuses for being a victim. At this point in time, all you got to do is walk away. Now, there's another video that I made. It's called Advanced Word Salad. Okay, if you haven't seen that, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna put a link, or I'm gonna put it at the very end in the picture, so you can just click on it at the very end of this video. I call it Advanced Word Salad. That is a technique that narcissists use on you. Watch the video and learn, okay? So here's the deal. When the narcissist starts to doing that advanced word salad, guess what you do? You get up and you leave. In fact, here's the deal. I won't even try to explain. Say, oh, I got to go. Just grab your stuff and leave. Walk out. And then if they call you, say, hey, man, don't ever talk to me again. Or text them, hey, man, don't ever call me again. And then immediately block them. So here's the deal. They will never change, okay? More importantly, it was an event, whether it lasted a month, a year, 8 years, or 45 or 55 years. It was an event. It's over. Move on. I'm going to go a little bit more to help you do this, okay? So one thing I want to say, it's essentially, here was the deal. This person pulled you into this experience of theirs. It's their experience. It's them trying to individuate. This had nothing to do with you, okay? You just happened to get caught up in their movie, their experience, okay? So here's the deal. It's like a movie. It's over. No, okay, I know what I want to say. Here's the thing you have to understand. You were never actually part of this experience, because what they did was they made an idealized image of who you are, and that's who they're dealing with. And when you detract from this perfect being of who they wanted, like, you are suddenly like ruining their story, and they get really pissed off. Like, no, you got to be like this. They're trying to push you back over to here. Like, yeah, stand like this, look like this, talk like this, and be like this, because they want you to be this idealized version of who they think you are. It's something they made up in their head. It's not real. So here's what I'm trying to say. You were never actually part of this movie. It's something that they made up in their head, an image of you, an ideal of you, the idealization of you, okay? And they get really pissed when you don't match this idealization. So here's the funny thing. You were never really a part of this movie. You just happened to get caught up in it. It's like you went to the movie theater and you watched this horrible movie of this narcissist abusing himself and everyone around him. Well, guess what? The movie's over. It's time to just get up out of your chair, turn around, walk out the back, walk through the doors, walk down the hall, and then walk out the front of the movie theaters and go home. If you've followed my channel for 3 months or more, if you've been fairly consistent, you have a lot of tools, you have a lot of awareness. And here's the thing, you don't need to know every single tactic or thing. And the thing is, they're basically all similar tactics to the same tactics. So you'll pick up on it. You'll be in like, oh yeah, see, like you'll figure it out, because your energy, your intuition, your body doesn't like it. It'll be chaotic, confusing, all that stuff. You guys know enough, okay? You guys are ready to go out there, spread your wings and fly, and go live your life to the fullest. Alright, so here's the deal. Remember early on in this video, I mentioned like there's two hungers. There's the victim is hungry for love, intimacy, and acceptance. Well, that's you. Now, there's an answer to this. It's something that I did for many, many years, and I still do it to this day. And it's the reason why I got out of that last experience so fast. I was like, man, fuck this. And I was gone. It's called self-love. Okay, so I had a really good energy healer who 20 plus years ago was like, Michael, you need self-love, because I just got out of an extremely abusive relationship. In fact, she was the one like, Michael, you've got to get away from this person. This girl's no good for you, blah, 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 okay? So the number one thing she said is like, hey, you can't date for 4 years. And I was like, 4 years? What the hell? So I negotiated down to a year, but I ended up not dating for for 4 years after that, because it felt so good. So she made me agree, like, to not date, not even go to a coffee date, not go to the movies with anyone. No dates, no nothing. Go to work, come home, cry on my couch, deal with my emotions, be with my emotions, and self-heal and self-love, to literally hold my emotions like little children, to nurture them, to love them, to treat myself well. All right, get your pen and paper out, or get your computer notepad thing out. So here's one of the things I would do. Number one, I would literally cry in bed or cry on the couch. Even if I had anxiety, I would curl up and hold myself, okay? I would deal with it. No drugs, well, I never did drugs. Well, I experimented very little, but was not much of a drinker either. So, like, in other words, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't smoke cigarettes, don't drink coffee, don't do all those damn things. Stop. No computer shit, no televisions, no music. Be with yourself. Spend time. Put time aside, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, where you don't do any digital stuff, no dating sites, nothing. In fact, turn your phones off. Okay? You have to spend time alone. Go to the movies alone. Go out to dinner alone, etc., etc. Another thing that I do, and you can write this recipe down, so to speak, I will take a really hot bath, okay? I will use lavender oil. I usually use about 8 drops of lavender oil. I'll put sea salt in. You don't have to do sea salt. You can do regular salt. I prefer sea salt. And you can add a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I generally add about 2 cups to 3 cups, okay? So that's one thing I'll do to self-soothe. I'll even put 1 or 2 candles up, okay? It really helps me to mellow out. Another thing that you really should do is you should set aside prayer time, at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes, where you really, really pray from your heart. You really get into it, okay? Prayer is very, very good for you, okay? I've also done deep breathing videos, which you can go on to my homepage on my YouTube channel. And if you look at the second and third row of videos, so the first one's internal awareness, emotional grounding techniques. There's a bright red on the right side. I'm on the left with the black shirt on. And right below there, the first 2 videos, My Secret to Meditation, Manifestation, and Consciousness, those first 2 videos teach you a really powerful breathing technique called Ha breathing. It's come from Hawaii. From Hawaii when I was studying Huna, okay? If you just watch those 2 videos and the 3 videos in red above it, you'll really, really, really learn how to relax. And these techniques help you to connect with yourself. Now, if you can't seem to make it work on your own, if you want to hire me for some sessions, I can absolutely help you to get the techniques down in a way that you can ground yourself emotionally. So here's the other thing. You need to start developing hobbies, things that you enjoy. Like for me, I love to read. I love to study human behavior, energy healing, consciousness work, all of this stuff. Okay, here's one thing I'm going to highly recommend. Do not spend all your time on YouTube watching video after video after video. Don't do that. Limit it. Set some time aside. In fact, I'd even set some time where you don't even go on YouTube for a while, okay? So one of the things is you have to begin enjoying life by yourself. Maybe you start going fishing. Maybe, like, okay, one of the things I do a lot of walking. I do a lot of hiking. I also have a bike where I love to bike. It's a fixie bike. I ride that, pretty far distance. There's a lot of things that I love to do by myself now. Now, there's a reason why I'm emphasizing myself. All right, let's take the videos that I'm making. So I'm on my iMovie on my Apple computer. And I used to hate making these movies, but I had to do it for my business, and I persisted and persisted. I really, really like doing this. I'm kind of in the flow. It's something that's important to me. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's meaningful, and it's good for business. Here's the deal. I actually enjoy going to the movies alone because I don't have anyone to interrupt me. Okay, so then I walk out going, man, I missed like half the movie because you kept freaking talking. So there's a lot of things that I do that I enjoy. So here's the deal. When you learn how to love yourself and accept yourself and enjoy being with yourself, all of a sudden you don't need someone to love you. And that is the trap that you got caught up in. That's why you got caught up in the narcissist abuse cycle. And that's the reason why that last narcissist, after a few weeks of this bullshit, I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, man, I'm fucking out of here. Fuck this. Well, 5-10 years before, I wouldn't have done that. I would have went through years of absolute freaking humiliation, abuse, and all the freaking nightmare, the freaking, what do they call it? The haunted house of mirrors and all that bullshit. Here's the message I'm trying to get across at the very end here. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most important thing that I did years ago, thank God that I met that energy healer, was spending time alone to the point where I started developing a sense of enjoying being with myself. That is what gives you freedom. And that is what gives you power. When you suddenly don't need other people for happiness, for fun, for enjoying yourself, enjoying life, all of a sudden you have a form of freedom and power that 90+% of the people on the planet don't have. Everybody needs everybody. Everyone needs someone to entertainment, to make them happy, to go to the movies with, to go out to dinner with, to go to coffee with. That a lot of people kind of look at me like, man, there's something different. Like, this guy's all alone. Yet I'm happy. I'm social. I talk to people. That's another thing. I'm very social. A lot of people don't have social skills. Now, here's the deal, people. I had to learn these. That's why I went to the NLP trainings, Ericksonian hypnosis. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to gain rapport. You learn to read body language. And guess what? That's what I specialize, especially in the course for men, Correct a Female Code. That's what 90% of the course is about. How to read someone, how to give them space, how to respect their space, how to respect their energy, how to gain rapport, how to match them in a way that they feel comfortable with you and you feel comfortable with them. I also teach you skills on how to be comfortable with yourself, etc., etc. That's what this whole thing is about. My overall message is you really do have to learn how to love yourself and learn how to enjoy being with yourself, which means you're going to actually have to spend amount of time, 6 months, a year or more, literally being with yourself. Because this takes away all the power any narcissist in the future will ever have over you. And it puts all the power in your hands, the power to walk away. The power to walk away is one of the most powerful tools in negotiation in any area of life, from business, sales, and relationships. This was the best thing that I ever did in my entire life, and I'm glad I did it. Hey guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed at least parts of it. Go ahead and click the subscribe button, click the like button, make a comment, and if you'd like, go ahead and make a donation. Right down there's a link to PayPal. You can make any kind of donation you want, and only do it if you feel comfortable doing it, okay? Alright guys, God bless you. See you guys in the next video. Bye.